Hey, everybody, welcome to Heroes Out. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Paul.
And Paul, it's Thanksgiving soon. This is the holiday season is really kicking off full bore. People are going to be having dinner with friends. They're going to be having dinner with family. They're going to be having dinner with lots of people that they don't want to. Um, it's a great thing to be able to have dinner with anyone, so we should all be grateful that we have company at all.
Yeah.
However, there is the old kind of, oh, if you could invite anybody in the history of time, who would you invite to dinner? Well, we're doing our movie spin on that. And there are rules,
Mhm.
Paul. You have 5 seats to fill,
Yeah.
and you can invite 5 Hollywood folk. And that can be a producer, director, composer, best boy, grip, if you know them, if you know they're in a movie. But here's the kicker, everybody. The rule is you have to make sure that all 5 of those people have worked together in the same project. So there's no saying, oh, I want to invite Steven Spielberg and also Quentin Tarantino, because the two of those
Yeah.
people have never worked in the same movie. So is that
Mm.
clear enough, Paul? Make sense?
Yeah. Makes sense.
Well then, a new little background in our stream today is a fabulous dinner table with a fifth implied chair. There's 4 chairs visible, and the fifth one is where you're sitting yourself right now as a viewer. So everybody out there, get into the comments, and as we're going along, I'm sure we're going to inspire you to pick and shout movies and different movie projects. Paul, I'm gonna just open up our method for visualization, which will be IMDb, and I have conveniently already typed in Steven Spielberg because he's the most likely person that will start Kevin Baconing from.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Yeah.
before we do, tell me what your kind of tactic is here. Do you have one person that you're like, I must have them, and then let's see what the best mix I can get is, or are you like, I want to maybe just have the best average overall of interestingness?
I don't know, because I would generally go how can I guess um what you Del Toro into a seat,
There you go.
which I can say is fairly easy.
Oh yeah. Well, who would you put in with? So let's get Del Toro up there. Not Benicio. Get Guillermo. I'll
It's
get him
like,
up here. So we've got his IMDb at hand in case you need to pick. Why do I have to re-accept the cookies? I don't know.
what else is it? Because Del Toro would be good. See, my thing is, I could just choose. I'd be happy with just Hellboy because I've got Ron Perlman, Doug Jones, which was
Good point. Good point.
several people that I would love to meet.
You've got William Hurt, don't you?
Yeah, John Hurt.
John Hurt. Sorry,
Um,
oh, I'm mixing
yeah,
up my Hurts again.
John Hurt as well. And then you'd have which was Cruel Intentions.
Selma Blair. Selma Blair. Sorry, I'm
Yeah,
gonna have to get better at my mic technique on this one. Sorry, I'm gonna hopefully not lose you, but I'm gonna have to cover some of my screen here. So right.
you know. So you
Yeah.
have just it's like that's a pretty good for me. That's a really good table.
It's a really good
Um,
start. Yeah.
um, because initially I just the only person that I'm like I want to meet Del Toro, but to fill out the other 4 chairs, Ron Perlman, Doug Jones,
Mm.
John Hurt, and Blair is a pretty good. Selma Blair is a pretty good kind of grouping there.
Yeah, and you've
Um,
got a lot of you get varied filmographies between them all, and obviously, Doug Jones is a very specific. So for anybody who doesn't know Doug Jones, he played Abe Sapien. He has been with Del Toro in a few things actually. He was in his Oscar-winning Shape of Water, but he's a
yes,
very particular physical actor because he has a specific physique also.
he is quite tall.
Hmm.
He's also a very kind of actually gotten to meet Doug Jones. He is an incredibly kind person. But for people who might not know, so yeah, for in the Del Toro sphere, he is the pale man from Pan's Labyrinth, the one with the hands, with the eyes and the things. He is Abe Sapien in the Hellboys. He is the Abe Sapien or an amphibious man in which is a Shape of Water kind of thing. But he's for older people in Hocus Pocus. He is the zombie boyfriend.
There you go.
And for new people who may not have seen any of the things, he is um, the captain in Discovery. He's the tall alien in
Yeah.
Discovery. I can't remember the character's name.
Got a little picture up there. So, Paul, we've got to bounce through this one. So, if that's your first shot, I'm assuming it's not your last. You're not saying, right, that's who I'm picking. So, your thinking there was you started with Del Toro.
Yes, and then tried to fill a good roster of other seats.
Yeah.
But
And
like,
and if you started thinking about it the other way around, because I started off the same as you, and that's why I had Spielberg up there going, well, Spielberg, he gets me a lot of people, a lot of movies, a lot of high caliber people. Um, and importantly for me, John Williams, the composer, he's actually one of my dream dinner guests.
that's true.
And it's like John Williams gets me Spielberg, but not as many other people. So I'm like, Spielberg gets me John Williams and all sorts of other people. So I kind of settled down on a very obvious one for me, Jaws,
Oh, that's a good one.
because Jaws gets a whole heap of people that I'm very very interested in. Obviously, there's Spielberg. I hate to say it, the star of the movie is not my choice. As much as I could talk to him about Sequest DSV and all sorts of other fun things,
That is
and
true.
you know, 2010, the Arthur C. Clarke, or yeah, the follow up. But you get Robert Shaw, who has a massive historical kind of backlog of movies. He's worked with a lot of the old Hollywood greats in a lot of ways, but he's also, I would say, menacing and weird, or just really really sweet. I think Robert Shaw would be at the table. I'd be like, he is going to bring some chaotic energy. Richard Dreyfuss is the definition of chaotic energy in some ways. At different times in his life, he's been different people who I would want to be around or not be around. He has some interesting views as he gets older. But having those at the table, I'll be honest, they're brilliant, but they are kind of fillers for that main course for me,
That's yeah.
because I would end up being like, right, Spielberg. Beside you sits John Williams, the man who I think has had a bigger impact than anybody else on film in the last 50 years, 60 years really, probably, I guess, but 50 years, let's call it. People would usually say it's you, Stephen, but John, I'm giving it to you. Do you still want to sit beside each other now that I've just made you best of enemies?
Like that's yeah. See, that's the thing, because yeah, you could choose. Going from the other way, as you say, it's so difficult. But like, it's so easy. It's so easy to pick one person,
Mm-hmm.
like Spielberg. Spielberg's an amazing choice, and he's also worked with so many of the greats as well. So you
Yep.
filling out the rest of the grouping of the chairs, or of the places, is really good and really kind of fun, kind of thing.
So did you think of any like
That's
ensemble casts are kind of handy for being able to pick people up where you don't have to necessarily think, how am I getting from here to there? If you can get something that had a decent sized ensemble, there are variety movies, let's call them, where there's many, many different players. And I'm actually going to cheat, Paul. I'm going to suggest one that I think you're going to pick.
okay.
You could meet the cast of Firefly by just calling out
I
Serenity.
I did think it like that as well, and like, the only person that I would love to also meet, which I don't think he's in the film, is Badger. He plays Crowley in the in
Yeah.
Supernatural.
Irish
He's
accented
not
actor.
in. I don't think he's in Serenity, and he would be an interesting person to meet.
Yes, he certainly
It'd be
would.
very easy to fill from the crew, who I would love to meet, kind of thing.
Actually, just
But
let's take a little sidebar. I don't think I'm not picking Joss Whedon. So as interesting as it would have been to talk to him at one point in time, not so much anymore. Who are you
it'd be
picking from the
it'd be
cast?
still interesting to talk about him, but for a different reason.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Remember, you want to have this is a dinner party you're organizing, so they've
yeah,
got to be able to be
yeah.
fun together as
I
well.
don't want to. I don't want to be just like, all right. So the dinner party is an interrogation. Uh,
Exactly. So, and that's actually something. There's another angle that we got to bring up. Who makes for a good time? Who's going to bring the energy, the laughs? Who's going to be able to tell old stories that other people can jump in? And do you get a new perspective? Do you have a Sydney Sweeney, to call back to our clickbaity thumbnail? Do you have, an opportunity for somebody who's new to sit with somebody who's old and hear them have a discussion that could be fascinating over the dinner table? And when I say new and old, I mean, newer in the business and somebody's been around for
Yeah.
longer.
Yeah, I think one of the most interesting. So, if you're talking about from a kind of a conversational point of view, Jim Carrey would be
Yes.
an absolute like. And the thing is that you could choose if like you could choose quite a lot of like uh, uh Internal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind would be really interesting.
You get Kate
Um,
Winslet, yeah.
yeah, that's got a great cast. The Mask, as well. That'll be an interesting one. Like there's so many of Jim Carrey's films that would be very interesting to fill out,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And I think that because I think right now he would have a lovely conversation.
And can we hold Jim for just one moment? Because I never got the answer from you. Who are the five that you're picking from Serenity? So I'll pull up Jim then.
Oh,
Nathan Fillion, go
Nathan
on.
Fillion's going to be on the list,
Oh, yeah.
definitely.
Charming, funny,
Um,
plenty of experience.
yeah, I would say that. What's his name? Alan Turek is another one.
Definitely Tudyk, and he can bring the voices and the comedy as well. Like he's, by all accounts, he is as funny and sweet in real life. And him and Fillion are very good friends, so you get a good vibe at least one side of the table.
That's the thing. I would love to bring Summers onto the
Summer
into the group
Glau,
as well.
right?
Yeah,
Okay, River.
because she had a very kind of weird, a very interesting kind of like rise and then fall. Not fall. I don't want to say fall, but a very interesting kind of. She did Terminator Chronicles and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
it seems like the only things that I remember her from are Firefly and
and
Terminator
Terminator
Chronicles. So
Chronicles.
I'd like
Yeah,
to see what else she's doing. Which because Gina Torres would be great.
and she's also, I believe, still married to Lawrence Fishburne. So anytime she's telling a story about home, you can imagine she's talking about Lawrence Fishburne. So handy.
Um, so that's four. Now this is where I have a problem because it's either between Adam Baldwin.
And Jules Statate. I can never say
No,
her name. Oh,
Marina. Um,
oh, Marina Baccarin. Ah,
yeah,
who's not actually in the picture that we have here. Sorry. Yeah. Ooh.
because you would get Deadpool with Ryan with.
You get the Deadpool stories. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
but Adam Baldwin, you get Independence Day.
Well, that's it. Like Adam Baldwin's actually my first choice. Like Adam Baldwin's a must.
Oh, that's a
Like
good one.
of the cast, I'd be like Adam Baldwin first and foremost. I just love the man. His time on Chuck, he just genuinely seems like a funny dude. Anytime I've seen interviews with him, um, the whole kind of Hollywood history of a Baldwin name, and just asking him how that's ever come up in his career, because it would have.
Like, yeah,
Yeah,
trying to
and
think of anyone.
oh, we're in the background. So I would swap out Summer Glau for Jewel. I cannot say her name. Uh, she's she just seems cool. I've seen her online a fair bit.
Jill
I know,
Stasi. She's
yeah,
the Kaylee character, the
yeah.
engineer.
I can never say
Yeah.
her second name. She seems a bit like me, to be honest. Which is me calling myself cool, but she seems like the type of person I'd be friends with in real life. But yes, sorry, we cannot get trapped in a nerd rabbit hole for all the people out there who aren't into it. How are the chat people getting on while I put
What's
in?
this looking at? I've got Fargo. I have the Coen brothers, Francis McDermott, Stephen Buscemi, and William H. Macy.
Oh, that's
Catch
a
Me If You
bloody
Can.
good one.
Catch Me If You Can. That's Steven Spielberg. It also got Tom Hanks.
Yeah. And who played the
DiCaprio.
dad in that? Was that Chris Cooper?
That's it.
Again?
No, it was Christopher Walken.
Oh God, you get walking
Yeah.
stories. Oh my God, yeah. Oh God,
Um,
that's
I would
well done.
I would
That's
think
close
that
to a winner.
would Batman Returns. Would that not be a choice that you would like?
Batman.
Because that's got
My brain is going what, and it's then instantly going, "You dirty little genius, Paul."
yeah, because
I
that's
see
got
what you've done.
that's got Tim Burton in it, but it's also got Christopher Walken. It's got
Tim Burton would not be invited. Just so we're clear.
okay. But you
Michael
got
Keaton,
Danny De, huh?
Danny DeVito,
Yeah,
Christopher Walken, Michelle Pfeiffer.
yeah.
Uh,
And then you have a choice because you have the original Alfred,
yeah,
or you have the police commissioner dude. 'Cause they're good.
you got John
Um,
Hooks, who was SNL, I believe, also. Um, Gosh, you could, yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one. I would probably end up just sitting in a corner chatting to Danny DeVito about Taxi and asking about his other co-stars.
by the way, just as a little thing, happy birthday to Danny DeVito. He's 80 this week.
Really? Ah, happy
Yeah,
birthday, Danny.
I believe so.
Ah,
Um,
legend.
I could be wrong.
Well,
Um,
back to the comments for a second. Pulp Fiction, take your pick. Pulp Fiction's a good one because, again, ensemble. Uh,
hmm.
but thinking of what's the lie to me English actor's name in lots of Tarantino movies? Because I'm trying not to say Gary Oldman. Tim Roth. Tim
Oh
Roth
yeah.
always makes me think of Gary Oldman, which now makes me think, how do I get Gary Oldman to a table? Because I think he's probably one of the finest actors of any generation, including ours. So now I've got to start thinking that direction. Oh God. Um, Pop Culture says the John Williams doc on Disney Plus is amazing. I gotta check that out. My Pop Culture shared a childhood answer, Three Ninjas, which I don't think I've ever seen. But I'm gonna look it up, Paul, because I'll bet there's
That's
adult stars in it, as in grown up stars that are probably a lot of fun.
there's probably a few. Um, I was thinking also, like, funny enough, any this is one thing that I'd like because you could choose a director because there's a few directors that choose kind of like good name casts if you want to
Yeah,
go specifically for cast because like Wes Anderson is famous for his ensembles. Christopher Nolan's quite good,
true.
as well. So you can like if you wanted to fill out a roster of just actors, like those two kind of like directors
Yeah.
choose a lot of kind of thing because like what is it, The Life Aquatic is quite good.
And actually, Brian's got that here. Bill Murray, he wants Bill Murray at his party. So Life Aquatic, you can bring Willem Dafoe, Jeff Goldblum,
I
Kate
didn't
Blanchett,
steal it,
Owen
Brian.
Wilson. Very nice. You could also bring the director. Or
Hmm.
Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters an easy one because you get Ivan Reitman, which would be fascinating. And then obviously you got main cast. Choose however you will. Personally, I would probably take the four Ghostbusters, but Rick Moranis would probably get an honorary look in there. Um, I just want to make sure that we cover the comments, Paul, before we go back to randomness.
Yeah.
I forgot to list my people. Spielberg, Hanks, DiCaprio, Martin Sheen, Amy Adams with special extra seat for walking. So that's from Catch Me If You Can.
Hmm.
See, Paul, it's a fun game. You don't go straight to your answer. Although, if I was to push you closer to an answer, if you were to start thinking, taking this very seriously, and I was going to start saying, well, Paul, where do you think you're going to end up if I'm going to start holding guns to heads?
Ooh, God, there's quite a lot. Um, yeah, fuck. Excuse me. Um,
Go for it.
Saving Private Ryan's a really good one. Um,
Why do I can't get Jim Carrey to happen for me here? Okay.
um, I'm just trying to think of any kind of like, because you could do if you want. Oh, who do I want? Because I would because Ocean's 11 would be really good.
That's it. Can we do Ocean's 11 for a minute? Because the thing, and I take it we're talking about remake, not original. Because
Yeah.
as much as I
The
would
the
love,
re the original would also be incredible as well. Either one you get.
get me to a like I'd obviously take Cannonball Run to get Burt Reynolds. It gets me all sorts. You Cannonball Run is a massive ensemble cast. You've got
Hmm.
Roger Moore. You got Sammy Davis Jr., who I'd love to have at a table with Dean Martin, Dom DeLuise. Like that. That's a very close to easy pick for me. But who are you really picking in the Ocean's 11 cast? Because that's a deep roster.
So I'm sorry to the two kind of henchmen, which I think one of them is Ben Affleck's brother.
Casey
Um,
Affleck and
yeah,
John, the Godfather's kid.
yeah,
God, what? Whose name am I forgetting here?
because you like, God, just like Julia Roberts.
Scott Caan. Yeah, James
Yeah,
Caan's
because
kid. Yeah.
yeah, because you got like what was it, Julia Roberts, which was Matt Damon, Brad Pitt, and George Clooney are a fairly good top four for that choice. But there's like
Oh, there's like Elliot Gould as well, though.
that's
Like,
the thing.
oh,
There's
Don Cheadle.
there's also Al Pacino is also in that film.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
he
Is Al Pacino's
he
in the first one? Is he? Is
maybe
it?
no, he's not. Sorry, no, Al Pacino's in the
Because
third one. I think.
it's the name is killing me here. Why
Oh,
can't
we're
I?
so good at this.
Yeah, well, I'm. It's a great night for names to leave me. But everybody knows the Cuban American actor I'm thinking of, who started off his career in another movie that could actually, The Untouchables. Why can't I get his name out? I'm gonna have to type in The Untouchables now. Sorry, Paul. You know who I'm talking about, right? You just can't
I do,
remember the
yeah.
name.
But the funny thing is, here's
We're
the
gonna
really
say
funny
his
thing is,
name now.
if you go to the IMDb page, this is a funny kind of like a funny kind of thing.
Andy Garcia.
It's
Good crikey, Jesus. There you go. That's who I was trying to say.
um just as a funny kind of thing. If you go to the credits in IMDb for
For
the original for the remake,
of Ocean's 11.
Ocean's 11.
Yeah, that's where I was a second ago. There we go.
The interesting cast list for me anyway is there's a lot of cameos in Deadpool 3. It goes George Clooney, then it goes essentially board member 1, board member 2, board member 3, blackjack dealer, and it's obviously it's credited in order, I guess,
Oh,
of a period or something, or like something. It's weird.
okay. Yeah, it's actually acting a bit weird for me, all right, as well. Do you know,
Anyway,
though, slightly just to jump again, and then I know we're probably going to end up running out of time. Untouchables, which
it was good.
if I can get back up, that gives you like, never mind Andy Garcia, bless him, but it gives you Sean Connery. And oh my God, yeah, Kevin Costner, Sean Connery, Robert De Niro. Oh, that's a like, and Brian De Palma. Even if you want to take a writer, you can take David Mamet. It's maybe that's the magic ticket. Oh, it's so hard to choose. Well, actually, Paul, is there a because Bill Murray, strikes a chord with me, and I don't think I'd choose Ghostbusters. I think I'd have to forgo Bill Murray at my dinner party and go for Trading Places if I can get it to come
Trading
up.
Places, Dan Aykroyd and
Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy.
yeah.
Like, you've got, let's see if I can get my mouse to work. There we go. You got Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy. You got John Landis, the director, who would be brilliant. Don Amici with all his years in movies. You can, and Denholm Elliott. So you can talk. Like, you can have people come along. So you can talk about Cocoon. One of the great overlooked films of all time. Get on-set stories there and just a history of cinema. And I think Don Amici was married to Jessica Tandy at one point, or maybe always was. You got Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy with just stories galore from SNL and everything else they've done.
Mm.
And then you go to Denholm Elliott and go, so what's it like to be in Indiana Jones and everybody forget that you're in it? But without you, those Indiana Jones movies would be nothing. Nothing,
Mm.
you charming, charming, beautiful man. I love him so much. He was such a big part of my enjoyment of those movies. He was weirdly my favorite character.
You could, yeah. You talked to like that's it. Like Indiana Jones is a good one. Um,
Yeah.
just for the classics. Like, I'm trying to think of other ones, and I'm trying to think of a full roster.
All
But
right.
yeah,
Well,
I'm trying to think of people who I'd like to. There's so many people I'd like to meet. You know, it would be so easy to do like Endgame or like Infinity War or something like that. So you
yeah,
can get like you have such a plethora of Infinity War would be the cheat. I would say that.
Infinity War would be a great cheat, but there's the other thing. While I type that in,
Because that has such a cast and crew and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah.
You know.
And actually, who scored that? Because I'm fascinated with composers as well. So,
Well,
but
then if you
even
want,
just talking to Marcus and McFeely, some of the great writers that
yeah,
never get the credit they deserve. You wouldn't even have to bring an actor because you could have the Russo brothers, Marcus and McFeely, uh, and Stanley. Don't even take a full Avenger cast member, and you still could have the dinner party of a lifetime. So I'm going to try
like
and move
that's
this
the
back so I'm
thing.
facing the camera a bit more. That's oh. I keep moving things around because I need to be able to see the comments as well, and I can see in the comments. Pop, you did the smart thing. You just upped the ante from Ocean's 11 to Ocean's 13 because it just widens your famous cast to choose from. I respect that move. Deadpool 3, so many cameos. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, Paul, for an 80s action fan, Expendables 2 or Expendables 3 or 4, I guess. I don't know. They just kept adding more people. These are great picks. Brian's nailed some. The Big Lebowski. And he's going for Goodman, Bridges. Oh, God. It's funny. The minute you mentioned Jeff Bridges, I'm thinking, could I get Lloyd Bridges in? His dad. Oh, but sorry, Goodman, Bridges, Buscemi, Elliot, Turturro. Yeah, you got so many to choose from.
Shammy would be good.
Yeah. And also, he's got some interesting life experience as a firefighter and stuff. So there's no right choice, is there, Paul? But you've got
Um,
approximately 6 minutes to make your final one.
the trial of the Chicago Seven.
There is a phrase we use in Ireland affectionately and non-affectionately. Paul, you dirtbird.
Because that's Aaron Sorkin, Eddie Redmayne, Saoirse Baron Cohen, which goes, I'm going to butcher, well, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and then
Yeah.
I'm going to butcher this name, Yara Adel Mateen II.
Yeah. Yeah, Bill
Like,
Mateen the second.
yeah, because he's in quite a lot that I also enjoyed, because I enjoyed him. He was also in The Greatest Showman, which is another one that I could also choose, but
Yeah.
because you get.
God, you
But
got Mark Rylance in there too. I forgot about that.
hey, you got John Dorman and Michael Keating in that one as well.
Oh, Frank Langella.
Yeah,
Which I
that's like
well,
J.C.
Jeremy Strong is
McKenzie.
there. So what about The Big Short? It gives you Christian Bale, gives you Steve Carell, gives you Ryan Gosling. It just keeps on giving, and you can take Jeremy Strong. Um, I wouldn't. Would you pick Eddie Redmayne as a matter of interest?
Yeah, I like Eddie Redmayne.
Is there anything particular that you would? He's just nice chap sort of thing, or
I would love to figure out how he came up with. So he came up with the idea uh, in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them for the character of Newt to not make eye contact with him. It's a very particular acting choice, which I really really enjoy. And the reason that he's also in the Jackal right now. But he made that choice in the sense that that's what you don't do that in the animal kingdom unless you're starting a fight or
yeah,
trying to show your dominance. And it's a very interesting character trait. I would love to just hear the story of how he came up with, because
that's
that's a very non-typical protagonist hero character, which I would love to hear more about.
that's very true. Although, Paul, we should probably start picking some of our just personal cheat favorites because I'm assuming, like, I would love to sit down and have dinner with Rosario Dawson, and
Mm,
she's been in a bunch of movies that I can already start picking. I would fill seats easily, but be like, I think she's a great actress. Same thing, Rosamund Pike. Um, would you be interested in talking to Anna Kendrick? Because she seems like
Yeah.
fun. And she's been in enough movies now that you've got a great selection. She did that thing with Sam Rockwell, who's another person who I would love to spend
Yeah,
some
Mr.
time around.
Bright.
It's going to be a fun evening. So it's
Well,
so go for it.
Actually, Mr. Right, you also get what's the guy who plays the Abomination?
The Roth, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, who
Yeah.
I had. He's my Gary Oldman problem, which is where I'm going to go. So, Paul, we got about 3 minutes left, and I'm gonna just throw my weight behind Gary Oldman getting me somewhere, because Gary Oldman is a legend who I would absolutely love to listen to and have conversation with, and he has had such a varied career.
okay. You could do Batman.
I'm thinking,
go.
yeah, I'm thinking you might be right. Actually,
You could do
Dark Knight.
you could do Fifth Element.
Bruce Willis and Mila Jovovich, again, interesting stories from different, all across the movie spectrum. God, Lawless,
I know.
that's another one that brings you some big names, because Woody Harrelson's an interesting chap.
I know who I'm going to choose for my last one. What movie I'm going to choose for my last one?
Okay, well then I'm gonna go ahead and say The Dark Knight, because I can then say Nolan, Oldman, obviously Heath Ledger.
Bale.
Yeah, but I like. There's just so many to choose from. It's not going to be different with that. Oh, Michael Caine. Yeah, I'd take Michael Caine, and maybe Morgan Freeman, and might even leave out Bale.
Brian said Dracula or Goldman for Goldman.
Oh
for
yeah,
Goldman.
that's
Oh,
actually good. That gives you
Yeah,
Keanu
Keanu
Reeves.
Reeves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who you picking, Paul?
Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
I'm choosing Gandalf, Sauron, which is Aragorn, Gimli, which is
hoping I can get a good
and
picture up. Yeah,
Peter
so
Jackson.
I like that you're picking cast. So, Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
And Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
You said Gimli, so I should be able to find him here. Why is he not first on the list? Good Lord. Oh, they don't have a picture.
We have 1 minute.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I love your choice. Oh crikey. Well, I think Lord of the Rings is a good choice, and I think who you've named is pretty damn good.
Because you guess Ian McKellen, you get Sauron, you get loads of Christopher Lee.
Yeah. So look, we tried not to be too nerdy about it, folks. But what really happened in the end is I ended up picking The Dark Knight, and you ended up picking Lord of the Rings. So Paul, what the hell, man? Yeah, not a Spielberg in sight in the end. So I really would need to rethink my John Williams of it all. But what I want to say to everybody out there is, if you've enjoyed this, hit a like, a subscribe. Share with your friends. That'd be great. But get into the comments. Let us know your picks. I don't think there's any right answer, Paul. I think we could talk about this forever.
We could indeed. Thanks very much for watching. I've been Paul.
I've been Patrick.
And we've been
Heroes Out. Yeah, we'll be at your dinner party, and just invite us. Bye, everybody.
Bye.